So basically, I want to talk about UK pocket knife laws itself and why I find it ridiculous because UK knife laws solve nothing at all, right? In my opinion, it solves nothing at all because they're mostly focused on knives utility use. They're focusing on knives and locking mechanism. They're focusing on gravity knives and stuff. But it's just ridiculous, you know. You have every right to ban an animal based on their predatory instincts, but they're not gonna like do their own proper research because of how knife is. They never owned a knife, I believe. They never owned a knife because I got a knife for myself right now. This here is an ACR 13 MLV pocket knife that I got from AliExpress for about like 9 to 10 pounds itself. And it's a really nice knife itself. It's got a really strong clip. Really strong clip. Got build good quality itself. This was a pink one before that I had for like about 5 years. But the paint's gone off because of its use. So as I've got this for about like 5 to 6 years now, it is a beautiful knife, you know. But they're focusing on basically the locking of the knife itself. The reason why it locks is because it's a lot easier for you to guard your fingers so it doesn't cut your fingers. That's what it's there for. But they had to ban that because of its locking mechanism. And it's not the knife's fault that people die. It's the person who actually kills someone that's that fault, right? Just by basically going after someone who killed someone, it's their fault. It's not the knife's fault at all. And they're focusing their efforts on banning gravity knives. They're focusing bans on locking blade knives. They're focusing their efforts on having knives that's like really small, you know, like less than 3 inches. And in my opinion, it's ridiculous, you know. I mean, you have every right to like not carry a public, like a lot bigger knife and stuff, but I don't know, it's just the locking mechanism itself should not be banned, and the gravity knife itself should not be banned because of its use case itself. Whenever you're basically dealing with multiple things and you have this kind of blade itself, there's a reason why this design here exists. All right, the flipper itself exists for a reason because it's a lot easier to open with one hand. So when you want to get your job done, it's a lot easier to open with one hand. And when you close it, it's a lot easier to close with one hand. That's why it exists. The design itself is not the reason why people die. It's the people who kill someone that people dies. It's not the knife's fault. And they're focusing their efforts on banning particular knives with their own use case itself. Like ballad songs itself, you know. It's not the ballad song's fault that people die, all right? It's just ridiculous. The UK knife law itself is a joke because people are still dying from knife-related crimes because they're focusing their efforts on zombie knives. But the other knives itself are basically the same as zombie knives, but without the name on the knife itself. So it's the same as zombie knife, but they're not going to ban their knife itself. And I'll tell you this. I own a pocket knife for about 5 years right now. I never killed anyone because I mostly focused on having the knife as a use case to help people with their job. And that's it. That's why I have a pocket knife. Alright? I help someone with their own item just to make it a lot easier. And I do it because it saves me time. It's a lot easier. But if you want to be a politician, have no real life experience of owning a knife and stuff, what is the point? You're basically focusing your own effort on banning knives that absolutely have a use case. But you're not going to spend your own entire time going after people and have a really, really thorough investigation on them. You're not going to focus your effort on that, are you? You're going to ban knives, you're going to ban guns because of what people are going through. You're going to basically ban the guns, ban the knives, but you're not going to go after people that actually are killing people. Absolute joke it is. They're basically banning zombie knives that actually is a green color. And the green itself is just ridiculous because it's a color. Alright? It's a color designed for basically the style of the knife itself. It's not meant to go... It's ridiculous. Like, what is the point? In my opinion, it's a ridiculous kind of move. Alright? You never owned a knife before. You never even went hunting. You never even went outdoor. What are you talking about? All right, I've used this knife as a daily thing itself because it's a lot easier for me to like get my job done properly, and that's it. And if I had, sorry about that. Oh my gosh, fixed blade knives are basically like useful for like woods and survivals and stuff. All right. It's the person's fault that kills someone. It's not the knife's fault at all, in my opinion. So there you have it. Because they're focusing their efforts on banning gravity knives, flip blade knives, and they're focusing their efforts on the color itself, this and that. But they're not going to focus on efforts on the people who kill someone. It's not the knife's fault, okay? It's not the knife's fault. Just because the blade is razor sharp and stuff like that, you're relying on your own emotions just to make yourself feel safe. Which is just normal, because you're afraid of dying. But in reality, knife laws itself are there because of the politics, because of the people who actually rely on them, who think that they're doing a good job. In reality, they're not. They never owned a pocket knife, I believe. They never owned a flip blade, which I currently have in the UK, which is this. Because I've wanted a pocket knife, I've always wanted it ever since 2018, and I've got one from right now. I got myself no, because it's a really interesting hobby, It's a really interesting hobby to get into, sharpening knives, helping people cut their produce. It's a really useful hobby. It's a really useful skill for me, and it helped me save time. And by banning them, it doesn't make any difference at all. You're supposed to go after the people who kill someone. That's my opinion right there. So yeah, that's the entire video itself I want to talk about right there. Because at the end of the day, your effort on spending your own time going after individuals who kill someone, that's your main priority right there. It's not the knife's fault. It's basically the people who kill someone is their fault, right? And they're banning the flip blades and they're banning the gravity knife for no particular reason. It's scary, it's dangerous. No, friends.